And now, live from Level 5 Productions on the island of Milleronia, it's The Larry Miller Show. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America, and everyone who's always wanted a music box. Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Larry Miller Show. I'm Larry Miller, but in a way, aren't we all? Whether it's holidays or not, this is the show. This is the Larry Miller Show. And, and Colonel Jeff is here, of course. And we are not on the island of Milleronia. We're back on the mainland because one of my kids just flew in today, and I picked him up, and he ended his first semester in his second year of college. It sounds crazy, but I did say that correctly, and it's just great. We love him to pieces, and it's just great. I hope one day, if you don't have kids, folks, I hope one day you do, and that you get to pick them up at the airport, because that's pretty neat. They walk off the plane and through the open door there, and they get to see you and you see them, and it's awfully nice. And you wave and smile at each other and then have a nice hug. That's the holiday right there. That's any holiday right there. And he borrowed my car, which is fine. I don't care. We'll give him anything. We give him some dough, and he went out to see a couple of his old friends tonight. And, so that's why we're back on the mainland. And as always, boy, I'll tell you, that music makes us so happy. It's, of course, the Dan Robichaux Orchestra and the Penny Marshall Dancers featuring boy tenor Colonel Jeff Fox, asking the musical question, all right, I know I'm not exactly a seventh grader anymore, but it finally dawned on me this year, what in the world is mistletoe? And I said, you know what? Good question. That's a heck of a question. I don't know. I didn't know. I don't know if you know. There must be someone out there who knows, but we looked it up on the internet. And just saying that word makes it, oh, wow. But, that's the nearest dictionary. And I have a big one on my desk here, one of those 8 inches thick, and, it's pretty big. It's got everything in it. I don't need fancy words in it, by the way. I don't need slang words or contemporary words. But this one has everything in it. And Colonel Jeff looked up mistletoe. Are you ready for this? It's a parasite. Happy so far? Because both the Colonel and I just kind of went, ugh. It's a parasitic creature. Mistletoe is the English name in England for a hemiparasitic plant, whatever that is. And it attaches to a host tree or shrub and extracts the water. The word comes from missile and twig. Now, by the way, I don't know about you, but I don't care who I get to kiss. I don't even want this thing in my home. Do you? You want to go to sleep with that in your house? I don't. I mean, ugh. You wake up with it attached to your face, extracting the water from you. And just, ugh. And by the way, it didn't say, and we couldn't find, then how did it get to be the thing you hang over a wooden archway in your house between the den and the living room and get to kiss someone underneath it? That's the winning lotto ticket for kissing someone. Well, that's your wife, your girlfriend, or both. But really, how did that come to be? And the answer is, we still don't know. It didn't say there on the thing we looked up, had zero to do with anything to do with kissing. And just even hearing that it's a parasite, I'm not even sure I want to kiss anyone anymore in the first place now, just knowing that. But so this is the Colonel and I both said, let's ask you. Someone must know how, because we couldn't find it on what we looked up on the internet. But one of you out there must know, why is it something that we grew to hang and kiss under, considering it's frankly disgusting? And why did that? Hey, you know what? Let's replace. We always hang kind of a turd from a cow up on there on the archway and kiss under that. Why don't we forget that and hang this thing, the mistletoe? And by the way, can you imagine you have to stand under it, and it moves. It's looking at you, thinking, oh, maybe this guy has water. So in any case, good question, Colonel. What in the world is mistletoe? We know kind of what it is, a hemiparasitic plant. Again, whatever that means. And we know it's a parasite. It attaches to things. Please write into us, folks, if you know, and say, here's what it is. And here's why we kiss under that. And, what day that happened in the 9th century or somewhere, where someone just said, all right, now, honey, look, I know it's disgusting, but just go with me on this. Or then she said it to him. You didn't want new curtains? How about this? Well, in any case, folks, that's the first step to what in the world is a mistletoe. And in mentioning, by the way, Dan Robichaux was a friend of Colonel Jeff's, and he just passed away. It wasn't a kid. He was 96 years old, and he and Jeff were pals. And we send a fond tip of the hat to you, Dan, because any friend of Jeff's is a friend of mine. And by the way, in the Penny Marshall dancers, God bless her, Penny Marshall just passed on, and everything you may have read about from other people in show business is all true. I worked with her a couple of times, several times. And she directed me in something, and I just loved her. I mean, that whole Marshall family, Gary Marshall is, kind of a revered guy to me, and he's passed on, and I still look at his picture and smile and say something nice to him. And I guess he and Penny are together now forever. That Marshall family is a talented group. And Scotty, Gary's one of Gary's kids, is a great fella. I love that guy. He's a talented guy too. Scotty is a great director and was also in. He's a terrific actor too in the movie Overboard, which I think is a great movie. That's with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, and a bunch of good folks in that. And I think it's very well made. It's a Gary Marshall movie, and Scotty is in the movie. He's one of the Coast Guard guys in that last segment of the movie. It's another great day at sea, sir. And he does a great job at it. And in any case, Penny, I'm sorry you were sick, and I'm sorry you're gone now. But everything people say is true. You have a good heart and a good soul, and you did great work. And I loved being a part of it, and every time I saw that woman, it would always smile, and she'd smile, hi, how are you? And even that was a couple of times at the premiere of something. Now, remember, this is when there were red carpets and photographers and TV crews all over the place, and it's just nice to say, hi, how are you? Hi, La, good to see you. I'm not a good impression, maybe, but I said, all right, well, I guess I'll see you at the thing with the buffets. Yeah, okay. And she was a delight. So God bless you, Penny, and good luck from here on in. Say hi to Gary. And by Amazon. That's right, Amazon, where we're tipping our hats to Amazon today, and I'm awfully glad to do it. They're a terrific group. You can get anything you want in the world from Amazon, except, of course, an actual Amazon. If you do that, if you order a tall woman with really piercing eyes, number one, just smile at her, because she could, without touching you even, she could slice your head off. But if you get an Amazon, if the doorbell rings and it's an Amazon, let us know. But Amazon itself is great, and they send us always that whatever you order from them, they'll send a percentage of that to us here at the show. You know what, though? Amazon is a great group. And you could go to them any way you want, if you on your iPhone, on your laptop. But, do it the right way. Go through us. That way we get the percentage. What you do is you just go to our website, LarryMillerPodcast.com. Who's on the mountain? Tom Mix. Wow. Boy, that thing just flew by. You don't expect that in a studio, do you? I don't. In any case, do that. Go to our website, and we have a banner that says Amazon. Click that banner, and we'll take you there. You click our Amazon banner on our website, and go take a nap then. Lay down in your easy boy chair. Lay yourself down there, or lazy boy, whatever you like. And you don't even have to turn something on TV. Lay down on that thing, crank it back, put a magazine over your face, and that's it for a couple hours. That's the best gift you can ever get. So thanks to Amazon, as always. And that brings me to my favorite part of the show, the joke of the week. Oh, boy, this is a pretty good one, too, the Colonel and I both like this. There's a fella on trial, and it hasn't started yet. He's being arraigned in court. And this is pretty serious business, because it involves the worst things. That he was a bad guy, and the judge just says to him, all right now, Mr. Baladomond, whatever his name is there, and he says, on August 4th, your wife was bludgeoned to death with a hammer. Did you do that? And the guy says, guilty, Your Honor. And at that second, a voice from the back yells out, you bastard. And the judge slams on with the gavel on the court. Bam, 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 bam. He says, we'll have none of that here. I don't know. This is upsetting things, but don't do that again, sir. And then he turns back to the criminal, and he just says, now, on September 5th, which is just a month later, your son was also bludgeoned to death with a hammer, and how do you plead on that? And the guy says again, guilty, Your Honor. And the same voice from the back still now yells just, oh, you rat bastard. And the judge, that's it, bam, 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 that's it, bring him forward, come over here. And the guy comes forward, and the judge says, I told you not to do that, and you disobeyed me, and well, but Your Honor, no, but nothing. And I'm going to cite you for contempt of court right now. And the guy says, well, Your Honor, you don't understand. I'm his neighbor. And the judge says, well, all right, I can see how that's upsetting, but you don't understand. I asked him to borrow a hammer once, and he said he didn't have one. Boy, that's a pretty good joke. We like that one. And it's another interesting lesson in as how comedy goes, by the way. What could be more serious than your wife and your son, you bludgeoned to death with a hammer, good Lord, and you did it. And then, 15 seconds later, you're laughing. So that's the point of a joke, I think. Please pass that on and keep it alive. That fella who's going to trial doesn't need to be alive, but that joke does. And that brings me to my second favorite part of the show, the Poetry Corner. think that guy maybe had a piece of mistletoe fall in his mouth, and that's why he's coughing that way. I would too. And in any case, this is a lovely poem. It's by the great Louisa May Alcott, who was an American writer from 1832 to 1888, and she is best known for the novel Little Women, which is a great book and has been made so many times so well. Louisa May Alcott. Boy, oh boy. And this is a poem from one of her short stories, and the poem is called A Christmas Dream and How It Came True by Louisa May Alcott. From our happy home, through the world we roam, 1 week in all the year, making winter spring. With the joy we bring, for Christmas tide is here. Now the eastern star shines from afar to light the poorest home. Hearts warmer grow, gifts freely flow, for Christmas tide has come. Now gay trees rise before young eyes, abloom with tempting cheer. Blithe voices sing and blithe bells ring, for Christmas tide is here. Oh, happy chime, oh, blessed time that draws us all so near. Welcome, dear day, all creatures say, for Christmas tide is here. That's nice, isn't it? That's a lovely poem. Thank you, Louisa May. I bet you had many great Christmases in your life. And that brings me to my third favorite part of the show, the Magic Movie Moment. This is a terrific movie, and I've seen it many times, and so has Colonel Jeff. It's from 1941, High Sierra, directed by the great Raoul Walsh, starring, what a cast, Humphrey Bogart, Ida Lupino, Alan Curtis, Cornell Wilde, and Pard, who plays, well, the dog in the movie. And Bogart really cares about him. This is a movie, things just don't get better for Roy Mad Dog Earl. That's Bogart's name, and that's his character. And they got him out of prison by bribing a governor, and he's a tough guy and a bad guy, and he's just looking for something, a last score at something. But things don't go well for folks in this movie. And, see how it develops. It's a wonderful story. And you really root for Bogart and root for Ida Lupino and want to say, if you can just stop being crazy long enough to care about each other. And they're planning a job, and the gang is two guys who are inexperienced, and Roy is not getting along well with them. And the point is, near the end of the movie, he's trapped. The police finally get to him. They find him doing this and doing that. Cornell Wilde worked at the hotel as a bellman, and he winds up telling the police he was going to be in on it, and as part of the gang, and rob this hotel with them. And he tells the police, he rats Bogart out and where he's going to be. And Bogart finds this out and puts Ida Lupino and Pard, his dog, he loves that dog, on a bus, just heading out of town. He just says, get out, and don't stop, keep going. And he goes into the mountains, the High Sierras, and he's running from the police, and the car gives out, and he has to go to his feet. He has to run. And he goes up there, and, well, the police and state police are just got the whole place surrounded, and Bogart's up there in those rocks and in those mountains, and Ida Lupino hears about Bogart being trapped from wherever she and Pard have gotten, and she just races back to help him. And Lupino is grabbed over and told by the police to speak to Bogart, call to him up there, and coax him down, tell him to surrender. But she looks at them and she realizes, gosh, she was always great actress and a great director too. But she realizes Bogart would rather die than go back to prison. That's not a good solution. She'd be, ratting him out too. These guys don't care about him the way she does. And Pard's the same way, and he barks. And he knows Bogart is up there. And he barks, and Bogart hears it and comes down to save him. Nothing else matters at that point. And, it doesn't work out well for Roy Mad Dog Earl. But, folks, it's a terrific movie. It's very well written and very well shot and very well acted. Please see it sometime. High Sierra from 1941. You'll be glad you did. And you know what? That's a gift, too. I know we all at this time of the year think, what am I going to get for so-and-so? I have to get 9 gifts this year. I have to get 14 gifts this year. And it always reminds me, I was never that good at buying gifts. I was never that organized. And one season, 1 year, for both for Hanukkah and Christmas, everyone I wanted to get a nice gift to, and I wrote them down and kept it in my pocket. And it had addresses and everything on it for all the folks. 17 gifts. Now, it didn't help me that I wrote it down. I had it in my pocket, but I was coming back from a job acting, and it was in the valley, the San Fernando Valley, and I passed a new mall. I just felt hungry. I hadn't had lunch yet, and I don't know about you. I never do this. I just figured I'd go into this mall. I'd park in their lot, and it was in kind of, you might say, the middle of nowhere. I'd never seen it. It was up north in the, as I said, in the San Fernando Valley. If you don't know, is beautiful in many ways, and it's not small. It's awfully big. So I parked and went into this mall, and I'm not, again, much of a window shopper, but I walked around and looking for a restaurant, and then at the end of the mall, and there were stores that were not open yet. On one side, they had 2 or 3 stores that were still boarded up, because this place was brand new. And on the other side, there were 3 stores boarded up. But right in the middle, down at the very end, there was a store for music boxes. And I said to myself, what in the world? What? I'm not even sure what a music box was. And I walked in, and this place wasn't very big. It was, about 30 feet by 30 feet. That's big enough for a good store, though. And it was all music boxes. The whole place was music boxes. And this guy who owned the store and opened it built all the music boxes himself. He put them together by his hands. He designed them, and they were awfully well done. And one of them was a ladies' knitting parlor with 3 or 4 women there, and he made them beautifully. And then you open the music box, and of course they dance and they sing and spin, and a nice music comes out. And the guy came out to say hello, and he was Indian, from India, that is. And he was very nice and had a big smile. That's about 2 PM, and there's no one in there. Well, there's no one in the mall. But he's thrilled. He came to America, and this is what he does. He makes music boxes, and he's thrilled to be here, and he's got a brand new store and a brand new mall, and he's the happiest guy on Broadway. And plus, his whole family is there, the whole family. His wife is there, and God, they had 6 kids, and all from 4 to 14, and they're all there, and they stick their heads out the door. They're happy too, because they're good people, and Dad opened this store, and they're going to help him out anyway, anytime there's a need. And the guy comes up to me, so I wave at them. Hello. It was so nice being there. And he says, what are you looking for? I can help you with anything. I make all of these. And it was wonderful just to get to know him. And I said, wow, it was just amazing to me. You make all of them. They're really something. And then I remembered, whoa, I've got the list in my pocket. And I took it out and I looked at it and I said, this may sound crazy, but I think I can go clean with you here. And he didn't know what I meant. And I explained, go clean means this is the list of what I need. And I think you have such beautiful stuff here. I can go clean on the list means hit everyone, get everything done. Now, I need someplace to mail it. And he said, we can do it. We send everything from here. We package it. We wrap it. You can make a card for everything. And we send it out here. And I said, this is really something. Let's go. Let's go right now. And folks, we did. We walked around that store and I looked at this and I know, all the daughters of my friend Hamilton and, oh boy, they're all beautiful at that time. Let's see. They were, 10 and 13 and 16 and his wonderful wife, Marcia. And, I just love them all. And we got gifts for them. And the guy just showed me, how about this and for her and tell me about her. Well, maybe you tell me something about the hobbies they have. And he was perfect. He was unerring. He took me right off the bat to a little section, and they're all out there. They're all on shelves, on glass shelves. And he said, how about this? This is for this girl. You said she's nice. She's 13 years old. And I said, you know what? I think that's perfect. I think that's great. We did everything. And my sister and her kids and another friend from school and their kids and everybody's kids and them. Folks, I did it all. I went clean and I got through the whole list, 17 gifts. And then we walked up and the kids and the wife all helped out. They had a little assembly line going. They were so happy. I bought 17 gifts and these weren't cheap, These were over $100 each. But I was okay with that. And they had a whole line going. They would take each one and wrap it and pad it and use styrofoam all around it. And they packed it beautifully. And all the kids and the wife and the guy. And then they wrapped it and used more padding underneath the wrapping paper. And then they did the padding and I wrote every name and every address down on it. And made out a card for everyone, and we were all thrilled. And he said he was the happiest guy in the world. He said, "We did it. You're clean. You got clean." He loved that word, and I said, "I am. I went clean with you because of you, and thank you." And he said, "Oh, this is wonderful." And I said to him, boy, I'll tell you what, there's only one, I got to think of something that is my Uncle Arnie. The guy's face dropped. He was so hurt. He said, Uncle Arnie? And what is, I said, forget it. I'm just thinking out loud. I said, don't worry about that. He's he's an interesting guy. I love him, but he's not a music box type of guy. And, he said, we can do it. I can find, you tell me, and I said, buddy, you know what? You've done great here. And, but Uncle Arnie he said, and the guy now said, but I want you to go clean. That was what you want to do. I can do that for you. And, I said, well, Uncle Arnie what does he do as a young man? Well, he was in the war as a soldier and, in World War II and, he did great there, and then he was a good soldier, and then he was also an artist, and he's a tough guy. He went to France, he lived there, he had a patch over one eye for a while, and this was, remember, 1952, he was pretty rugged, and he said, all right, and he said, come here, and he showed me he had a pirate ship but a whole ship on the top of a music box. And I said, you're great. Forgive me though. You don't understand. It's not the whole thing of him opening up and finding a music box. It's just, he's the greatest guy in the world, but it's not that. And he said, wait. And I told him everything about Uncle Arnie, and he loved to read, and he loved poetry. He's a poet too. And there's so many things. He said, wait, come here, look at this one. And, he showed me something else that was like at a baseball game. But I said, you got to listen to me. I beg you. You're great. The shop is great here. Your family did a great job. You're going to send these out 17 gifts, but you're not clean. I said, I am clean. I'm as clean as I could be. And it took a little bit, folks. It took about 10 more minutes, for him to get it, for him to understand that he wasn't going to go clean with me because I needed something for Uncle Arnie. And he said, but, and he was, as a professional and an artist, he was hurt. He really he was happy, he was thrilled, and we did a lot of good work. And he and his family wrapped everything and made it beautifully. And it was not a small amount of money, but all right, there you are. That's gift giving. But we didn't go clean because of Uncle Arnie, whom I still love. By the way, he's not a kid. He's 94 now. But boy, oh boy, I said to the man, good luck. You're going to have a great store here, and people are going to love it. And I'm going to tell my friends, because I already do. I already love it. And thank you. But the whole family was nodding and smiling, but he looked like a deer caught in headlights. He didn't want to let me go. I said, be well, and thank you. And I walked out of the store and then started walking down the long aisle in the new mall, and where there's nothing around for another 3 stores on the right and 3 stores on the left. They're not there yet. And then I walked past, plus I still hadn't had lunch, and I walked past a supermarket, a Ralph's or some kind of, what the heck was it, a Gelson's or something like that. And I saw, well, maybe I'll go in there. And suddenly I hear this, sound of shoes going flap, 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 getting louder. And I turn, and it's the guy from the music box store. And I just looked at him. He was running and caught me. And I didn't even say anything. And he just looked at me and said, does he drink coffee? And I was so touched. I smiled at him and said, how does that help you? Yes, I suppose he drinks coffee, but what, we're going to go into Gelson's here and get some coffee for him? Believe me, I appreciate that you, he said, then you can go clean. And I said, God bless you. I'm clean, but I'm going to have to get I'm going to have to get him something else, like I don't know, some kind of Japanese sword or something. He's probably got 10 of those. But thank you. And I had to smile all the way. I walked away again, and I had to smile all the way home in the car because of how nice this man was. And that the big climax of my knowing him was, does he drink coffee? And not having anything to say to that, but how does that help you? In any case, folks, that's my Uncle Arnie story, and I love it very much. And my Uncle Arnie, and I love him very much. And there are pictures of him all upstairs with my sons and on his own there, and he's quite a guy, and still is, and I hope he will be for another 94 years. But Colonel Jeff and I a while ago decided, you know what, that's a good story to tell every year, right now, just coming up to Christmas, and of how one year I went clean, but just not Uncle Arnie. I know that, folks, and so do you. Remember, we know the same things. Homer is Homer, and Pluto is a planet. So remember now, folks, as always, if you walked out of bed today and had a job to go to and a home to come back to, and someone there who cares about you. Folks, the game's over and you've won. And that's the best gift you'll ever have. Be well, and we'll see you here next time. Hi, folks, and welcome back to this... The Larry Miller Show. How am I doing so far?
Don't change a thing.
Okay.